everyone, and welcome back once again to another lesson with Call. Today we'll be looking at inserting sliders in Microsoft Excel. So we're looking at sliders. Alright. Now, when we talk of sliders, a slider is a visual filtering tool in Microsoft Excel that allows users to filter data in a table or a pivot table dynamically. Right. So unlike a traditional drop-down filter, sliders provide buttons so that we can easily make selections or filter a data. Right. Now, these sliders are very important in data management or in Microsoft Excel because they are very easy to use. Right. So there's no need to open, let's say, a filter drop down. Yeah, or maybe it also helps in better visualizations. Okay, so they provide a clear view of active filters. Right. Now, for example, looking at these data, if sorry if we want to simply get data from only software business unit, as you can see over here, so we have software business unit for various years, right? So we have from 2012 down to 2023, as you can see over here, right? Then we also have the figures for each quarter, right? So for example, we take sales in the software unit, we take sales in the advertising unit, but these data is grouped together, and if we are to locate, for example, uh, a transaction, or let's say an expense, say payroll expense, alright, say payroll expense in, let's say, 2015, then we have to scroll within our data before we can locate. However, these sliders helps us locate them very easily. Now, these are sliders also enhance dashboards, alright. So when you are creating dashboards, sliders are also one tool that uh, helps or improve interactive in reports. Now, in this video, we're going to go about how we can use sliders in Excel tables. So, for example, in the Excel tables, and we can also go ahead and using it in pivot tables, right? So we're using sliders also with pivot tables. So in this video, you also get to know how to go about with pivot table. However, a single video or a single lesson will be made on how to insert sliders and also go into details with what they are more used for. And we will also go a step further to look at how we can connect sliders to multiple pivot tables. All right. Okay. So without much ado, we'll go straight to our lesson. So using these data, all right, using this, so we have various headings. We have account, business units, currency, year scenarios, and we have Q1. So Q1 representing the quarters within the year. So first quarter from January to March in that order, and here from April to June, July to September, then October to December, right? And we have the totals over here. Now, the first thing you do when dealing with sliders is that we have to convert our data or our range here to a table. So in doing so, we hold converting it to a table, we hold Control T. Alright, so create a table as you can see over here. Now, where is your data located? The range is selected, and you take my table has headers. So you can see we have headers over here, account, business, those are the headers, and we hit OK. Alright, so now you can see that our data has been converted into a table. Alright, now the next thing we do is that we insert our slider, and to do that we come to our insert tab over here, then we can see sliders. So under the filters you see sliders over here. Alright, sliders. Alright, so use a slider to filter data visually. So we click on sliders, then we choose the header. Alright, the header that we want to filter the data within the table. So we want to filter it based on the years. Alright, based on the years. So you select year and hit OK. Now you see this slider opens for us, giving us buttons that we can use in filtering the data. So let's look at what happens. So this is the data. Let me alright. Now within this data, you can see we have from 2012 down to 2023. Now let's see if we use the slider. So for example, if we click on 2012, immediately you can see that we are only seeing the data for 2012. Alright, you're only seeing that of 2012. Good. Now if you click on 2020, 2013, same happens. 2014, same happens. Alright, so that's how we insert sliders within a table. Okay, so we can also go ahead and add another slider. For example, we want to filter it based on the year and maybe the business unit. All right, so we want to focus on maybe one business unit, but in this data we have three business units. We have the software business unit, advertising, and we also have the hardware business unit. All right, so I can go ahead to insert, then insert another slicer. All right, and this I want to filter them based on the business unit. I hit OK. And I can see that I get another slicer over here. All right, so first let me, so if you want to clear the filter that you've done, you see this button over here, right? That's clear filter. Or you can use Alt C. Alright. You can use Alt C. Alright. So I clear my filters and I have all the data here. Now this time let's focus on this the business unit slider. So if I hit on advertising, right, you can see that I'm only seeing the data for the advertising business unit, as you can see over here. Right, only advertising business unit. And I can also go a step further. So multi-level, maybe multi-level filtering. Then maybe I want to see for only 2012 and I hit 2012 also. You can see that I'm seeing only data for advertising business unit in 2012. All right. Okay. Now I'll go back and let's delete these filters. All right. And now let's create pivot tables and use them. Alright, so let's create pivot tables and use them. So in creating pivot tables, I'll convert my table back to a range, so I can see it over here. So I convert it back to a range. Alright, so I have it back to range, and so that we can see it better, let me remove the formatting over here. So no flow and no borders. Alright, so just like how we started with. Okay, let me see this error. Okay, so I can go ahead with my data. Now, if I want to insert pivot table, because we are also looking at inserting sliders within the pivot table. The first one we did was just in an Excel table. And in the pivot table, what we first have to do is that we have to select the region. Sorry. So I'll first select the data set. Okay. So I'll select my data set. All right. Then I'll go to insert. Now you can see pivot tables over here. Right. I select pivot table. Now, you can choose to create a pivot table within this worksheet, which is a summary data worksheet, or better, so a new worksheet. So we'll go with a new worksheet and I hit OK. Alright, so we've gotten the pivot table over here. So we are here to build the pivot table. And we are going to focus more on the fields over here because that's where we'll be building our data, our pivot table. So the first thing I also want to I want to filter out, I want to make some filtering within the data. So I want to focus more on the business units, the year, and the values, right? So with the various business units, I now have advertising, I have um, software and hardware. All right, so my business units now I bring them to the rows as you can see over here. So I have advertising, hardware, and software over here. So let me increase it. All right, then on the row, okay, on the row I want to put my years. Sorry, on the columns, I want to put my years. So my years also come here just like this. Now with the values I want to use for all the quarters. So I'll use the totals. And then I put the totals over here. So as you can see, we built a pivot table over here. Alright, so I have this nice pivot table built over here. Right, so it's all the data from the various business units. So in this instance, I've summed up everything from the sales or the revenue to the so I've summed it from the sales to the cost of goods sold to commission expense, all of that. Alright. Now let's use let's use this pivot table. Let's create a slicer with this pivot table. Okay. Now to do so, I'll just click in any part of the pivot table. Alright. Then I locate my slices. Okay, and I locate the slicer. And you can also see this down here, right under the filter tools. So I can see insert slices. I select insert slices. Now I want to focus on the one. Let's say I want to focus on the business unit. Right, so I select business unit and I hit OK. All right, so I have this slicer over here. All right, now if I want to only focus on in this instance, you can see all the data. So in instances where we have several business units, right, to locate just one, I can hit on, let's say, hardware. and you are seeing I'm only seeing the hardware row. Alright. If I want to see the advertiser, I hit on advertising. Alright. Now in the situation where you want to see maybe two business units, you can hold your control and select additional one. So you see I'm having two over here. And if I want to clear all houses, I can just come to this button over here, clear filter, and I just clear filter to return me back to my pivot table. Now the next one I want us to do is we will create an additional pivot table, right? And we learn how we can also connect a slicer with multiple pivot tables. So just with one slicer, then we connect it with two or more pivot tables. Alright. So let's go ahead and create another pivot table. So I go to my data. Alright, it's already selected. So I go to insert, I go to pivot table. Now, one thing you can also notice that if you don't know how to, or maybe you don't have an idea of a pivot table you are building, you can come to recommended pivot tables, right? And Excel gives you tons of them, right? So you can see tons of them over here. You can select anyone to use it. So this one is sum of Q1 by account. So sum of the first quarter by account. You have the sum of Q2 that order, right? You can get several of them over here. But in this instance, let's build our own pivot table. So I click on it. So I want it to be in an existing. Let's put it in a new worksheet. Okay. Now hit OK. Now I want to build another pivot table, but in this instance, I'm going to focus on the various accounts. Okay. So I bring my account to my rows. I can see the various accounts over here. Alright, and I want to add so that my totals will be the values. Alright, then maybe I want to focus on the year. So the year will be my column. Alright. Now with this pivot table, alright, we are going to use this pivot table in addition with the other one that we first created. So let me okay. So now I have these two pivot table over here. I want to connect them with one slicer. Okay, so it's one slicer. So what I'm going to do is I'll first create a slicer for this one, and this time I'm focusing on the years. Okay, so I'll go to insert slicer. So let me first pivot table analyze, then insert slicer, then I go to the year. Alright, and I hit OK. Alright, now immediately I hit on 2012. You can see that it only takes effect in the first pivot table, right? So 2014, so maybe I want 2012, 2013, and 2014. You see them over here, right? And I already show you how to select multiple. You hold control and you do that, right? So control, then you click on 2013, 2014. Right. Now we are getting for sorry, the slider only takes effect in the first pivot table. So if you want to do for both pivot tables, okay, for both pivot tables, what we are going to do is you click on the slider, alright, you click on the slider to activate it. So you can see slider over here. I click on slider. Then I come to this report connections, right? Report connections. Then I click on report connections. Then I take the additional pivot table I want to connect to the filter, right? So I take pivot table 5 and I hit OK. Alright. Now after doing that, you see that immediately we click on 2012, right? It takes effect in the two pivot tables. 2013 it takes effect, 2014 it takes effect. If you want multiple, you can select 2012, 2013, and 2014, and you see it also takes effect. Alright. So the last thing you also be looking at is how to customize our slicer. So you can see that this slicer is in uh, is in the buttons are vertically arranged. Okay, and we are not even seeing everything over here. So let's say we want to put it in a horizontal form. Alright, so let me add more rows up here. Alright, so let's say we want to put a slicer up here, maybe horizontally, so that at least we can see the various years instead of just scrolling it. And we can also go ahead and change the various uh, display colors. Okay, so in doing that, I select the slicer. Alright, I select slicer, then I come to slicer settings. Now slicer settings, I can arrange them. Okay, it's already arranged in ascending order, in that order. Alright, so I can go ahead and let's see if I want to arrange it in descending order, maybe from largest to smaller. I can start from maybe 2023, 2022 down to 2012, and you can also do that using this ascending and descending order radio buttons. Okay, all right. So the next one I want to look at is how to, let's say, make it horizontal. Maybe you you might think that we can just click and drag over here, but if we do that, you see what's happening over here. But the best thing is you come up here to buttons. All right, so you come up here to buttons. Then we can change the column number. So we can change the number of columns in the slides. So in this instance, we have from 2012 to 2023. So that will be around, let me see, is it 12? Okay, okay, I think it's 12. So I can go ahead and drag to see the years. Yes, so I have 12 years. So I can format the slicer like this. Alright, and I can also go ahead and give it some style, slicer styles, and I can also get that over here. Alright, so maybe I want to change it to something. Alright, so you can see you can also do all those over here. Alright, and you can also give it a new slicer style. And in here you can give it a color. Okay, so if I select the item with data, what color should show? All right, if it's unselected, what color should show? If I hover over it, what should show? And you can also do all that over here. You can format all those over here. All right, immediately you click on format, you can even go ahead and change the font, the style, and the size. All right, so that's what we learning today, and I thank you very much for your time, and hope to see you in our next video. Thank you very much.